Netflix's new docuseries about Prince Harry and his wife Meghan. The last 3 episodes are out today.
Meg became this scapegoat for the palace, and so they would feed stories on her, whether they were true or not. There was a real kind of war.
The show focuses on the constant scrutiny of Meghan Markle in the British media primarily, but Prince Harry also flagging what he called a terrifying situation. A family meeting where his brother William screamed at him over his decision to step back from royal life. He also says that his father and grandmother, the Queen, stood by and watched. Now, meantime, a new poll by YouGov suggests that Harry and Meghan's popularity is actually dropping in the UK in a major way. The two are not all that popular with some British people, but Prince Harry's popularity has dropped 13 points since November. His wife had a 7-point drop as well. The poll surveyed about 1,677 people between Wednesday and Thursday of last week. Justin Vovk is my guest, a royal historian. He's standing by. Justin, good to have you part of this. Your thoughts on the last 3 episodes here of this docuseries, the big takeaway for you?
Well, my big takeaway really from all 6 episodes has been the humanization of Harry and Meghan. I did go into this really guarded, kind of watching this sort of between my hands at first, but I was really impressed with the way that it does humanize the pair of them. But it is bringing some really important issues and questions that I think the monarchy has been bracing for some time. I think there's going to be some conversations being had among audiences, but I don't think this has completely blindsided the institution of the crown.
What do you make of the explosive argument between Prince William and Prince Harry, and Harry basically saying, look, my father, my grandmother were there in the room, and, this was really terrifying?
The problem with history is there's always 2 sides. We are only hearing one side of it, but also given this sort of bubble that they live in and the tremendous pressure that they're under, explosive interactions like that don't surprise me. I actually would have been shocked if he would have said that there were no explosive arguments like that. Even the best of families have these kinds of confrontations and arguments. So the fact that it was over such a major issue as the prince stepping away from the royal family, it's not excusable, but it's not surprising either.
Are they burning bridges by doing this? What do you think, with their family, the relationships they have?
It's definitely not helping build bridges, that's for sure. The chances for reconciliation are becoming more and more slim. As William steps closer towards becoming king one day, the avenues to rebuild bridges are going to be slim. We know that the British people, for example, are not terribly thrilled with Harry and Meghan right now. You don't speak out against the institution. I think that's why we're seeing their popularity dropping after all this. I think that the possibility could still exist of a private reconciliation within the family, but that would mean they would have to take really specific steps and be really careful about what they're putting into the media moving forward.
Justin, family relationships can be challenging, of course, for all of us. Perhaps this is a way of public therapy for Prince Harry and Meghan, or catharsis, such as it is. I'm curious, why do this, though? Do you think they made the right choice to be part of this, to do this docuseries?
That is a really tough question. I definitely get the sense of that cathartic therapeutic element. I feel like anybody can watch this docuseries and relate to it in some way, whether it's falling in love, having lost somebody, the way social media can turn. But the question of why they've chosen to do this, that's a big one. Some of us who are royal historians or royal commentators, we're kind of scratching our heads here because the media, they've made it really clear in this series that the media can turn against them, the predatory media, I should say. And so it does raise questions about what their end goal is here. Harry has spoken quite often about he's loyal to the monarchy, he's loyal to the crown, but the path he's chosen with certain media media interactions has raised some questions, and I'm not sure exactly what the answer is, and I don't know if we'll ever fully know the answer.
Yeah, certainly the impression some are getting is that they've now become kind of rogues, that he's a bit of a rogue prince. They've got a book coming out too, Harry. It's called Spare. That's coming out in the new year, and no doubt there will be yet more revelations. One final point, just talking about their popularity, and such as it is. I know that, British public opinion is very divided. Some people are not sympathetic at all to these two, and find that this sort of airing of dirty laundry is very unseemly. Your thoughts on what that means as the sort of relationship continues to degrade here?
I was actually quite surprised to hear how much their popularity was declining after this series. I thought, to be quite honest, that it might help it a bit. It would humanize them a bit more, and I think it does speak to sort of the consumer culture around predatory media. Meghan said a number of times in the most recent episodes that she was stunned about the fact that people were actually believing what was in the tabloids. And so I think this does raise important questions about how do we as consumers absorb predatory media? Do we give it a degree of consent by consuming it? And how does this shape public opinion? How does this shape public perception versus reality? And I think that is an important and necessary conversation that should come out of this documentary series.
Justin, appreciate you taking some time today. Thank you.